Yes, Stephen, it's Jim here.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Get back to what we were talking about, going into the divorce from Leslie Kavanaugh Bird. You at first filed, and the district judge is the son of Congressman Hall.
Well, of the past congressman, he was just defeated. But, okay. Yes, at that time he was a congressman. And, yes, he used to be a district judge there where his son is presiding as the senior district judge at the 384 or at 382nd. I'm not sure which one it is. But, yes, he in 2003 when we in September of 2003 when we it was either August or September when the divorce papers were filed originally by my wife at the time, and because she had a protective order she couldn't come into the house, and so when I had a protective order against her, she filed for divorce. But it was under the judge of Brett Hall. They pled, and in one of the pleadings, they asked the judge to do a receivership on my home in 2003. And he asked me, do I understand what that means? And I said, sure. And he goes, well, it's a protective method where if you went off your rocker or you did something, we need to protect the asset. The wife needs something to protect the asset. If she lives there, you need something to protect the asset as well. Consequently, the house, the judge ordered a receiver and appointed a realtor named Diane, who I never met, don't know who it was. They never put it on the market. And the house was foreclosed on. Well, you cannot foreclose on a house when there's been a receivership. They said that I did
this is $1.3 million property, and it's situated on a golf course.
On a golf course on number 4 Morning Circle. That is in a subdivision there.
Now, at that time, you had quite a bit of money in that.
Yeah.
Was it, $550,000?
Yeah. What I did was it was a house that was built by some investors of Enron, and they had gone through some financial hard times, as you know, the collapsing of Enron. And they had these houses up in Rockwall. Well, and so I went to the bank and they gave me what they call a wraparound note. It was an uncompleted house. I came in and they said, okay, we'll give you a loan for $550,000. You do a wraparound loan on it. We'll give you a wraparound loan. So in other words, so they wouldn't give me any money to finish the house. They gave me money that I spent my money to finish the house. I put another $250,000 in, which would be a good value at the time because I bought it at a discounted rate. Once I completed the house, 30 days after I moved in, the divorce happened. And as you well know, what happened then? The gentleman's name was Keith Wheeler, was my attorney. So
you lost an investment of $550 plus $250.
Yeah, I bought the note.
So that's $800,000.
Well, let me tell you. But it was money. The $550,000 was a note that they were going to carry. the bank there was already a debt on the house of $550,000. So I was just going to assume the $550,000, but then I put another $250,000 in the house. Well,
with you assuming a $550,000 note, wraparound note, and then putting another $250,000 into it, what exactly did you lose? I mean, was that not an aggregate of $800,000?
I lost the equity at that time. After finishing it, the net worth of the house was $1.3 million. But hard dollars, I lost the $250,000 that I put in. Yeah.
So
that's correct.
That's not strictly speaking. That's not legal, is it?
Absolutely not. You cannot foreclose on a receivership.
You got a standard possession order at that time, and let's see, that's 12 years ago. Right. Am I right?
Yeah. What happened was when there was some family violence, they arrested her, put her on, gave the kids to me, and put her on. She had a protective order against her. Okay? A protective order against her. And so she couldn't come back in the house. She had a 30-day protective order. After the 30-day protective order, during the 30 days, 2 weeks after the protective order was granted, she came back, said, "I'm sorry, I love you, I'll do anything, I'm going to do better." But, well, soon as the protective order ran out, 5 days after the protective order ran out, I was coming to my house with, to my house, and we got a knock on the door, and it was the police. And the police said, "I'm here for the domestic violence." And I said, "You must got the wrong house." She had alleged that I had touched her improperly, and so then that's when I had she accused me of rape when 5 days after her protective order was up. It was orchestrated. I was out on bond is when we went back to court, and then they did a receivership, even when I had it pending, the criminal court pending, because it takes, I thought it was 60 days to go through the DA's office. But we had a TRO, a temporary hearing, and they inserted go ahead and do a receivership through Judge Brett Hall. This is all paperwork bound. You can find it in the files. It's there, okay? Mm-hmm. What happened is, after I couldn't come back to the house because I had this protective order against me, okay? She takes all the furniture out of the house, even the light fixtures out of the house. I never got one thing on my inheritance, baby grand piano, antique furniture that came from my dad and mom's side of the family. She took everything I own. To this day, I have never got one thing. Never. This is a mother that I've had 3 children by who says I raped her 5 days before she was she had a protective order on her. Okay?
Yes. Now, during that time, Mr. DeGuerin did some research on her new, I suppose, husband.
Well, boyfriend. In fact, yeah, she moved
And could you tell me about that? What did Mr. DeGuerin and his investigator learn about his business activities?
Well, DeGuerin found that this had 12 defunct nightclubs, Longhorn Tavern. There were many different entities that they were defunct. And so he brought that to attention to me. And also, he moved in with her while we were going through a divorce.
I see.
And then
so later, of course, she made another allegation that you had raped your oldest daughter. And
that was
then that the special prosecutor dropped that.
Right.
From 2000, the thing that I really want to talk to you about is that your daughter died at the very young age of 3. Her name was Emma Rose. She's your youngest daughter, and she was born with the Tay-Sachs disease, which has not been cured. They haven't found a proven cure for it, but at any rate, you learned something shocking at her funeral. And could you describe that? At the funeral, you learned that they'd had a gathering. And what took place at that gathering? It was your ex-wife Leslie and
during the time of the funeral service, there was a gravesite service. And then there was a gravesite service, and then there was a service at the church, at the First Baptist Church, the Park Cities Baptist Church there on Northwest Highway, right in, if you will, the edge of Highland Park. We went there, and I was frisked. My family, my mother and my brother were frisked. I was frisked. They took me in a room, patted me down to make sure that I didn't have any type of weapons, and had security guards set beside me. And when we went down to the congregation, they had a group of children there that sang songs, which we thought was very weird. And then they came off the stage. When they came off the stage, my oldest little girl ran to me off the stage, and I hugged her the whole time. She came like she needed her daddy. And during these men and girls got up on stage and got to the speakerphone and were telling about their last night with Emma, which I thought was very strange. One was a youth minister that was friends of Leslie's, and he was telling them how Emma responded, and another one, we were there on our last moments. There was like 5 or 6 people there that were saying this type of thing, which I found was just really strange. I mean, how do you know when somebody's going to die the next day? The problem is what happened was, in the autopsy report, it says she died of respiratory failure. Well, that's another word of saying I was morphined. The button was pushed on her. So that's how she died.